We are live here talking the gridiron. Jimmy Pilato with me, Darren Breyer here, Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports, Far End of the Bench podcast. We're both with Variety Sports Network here tonight, talking the gridiron. Jimmy, we made it to the championship round, sir. We have made it to one of the best weekends in all of sports and all of football here. Maybe not the first. We'll get to the first game here. Double nickel put up in that one. We'll talk about that. But we got looks like maybe an instant classic here going on between the Chiefs and the Bills. We'll keep you updated during the whole game like we did last week with it as well. How we doing out there?
It is a little bit warmer. We got out of the polar vortex that came through Colorado. It was like negative temperatures for a few weeks. I know California, Northern California, because my girlfriend's father lives in Stockton. She's from that area. Oh, yeah. So he's like, oh, it was like 33 degrees. And she was sitting there like, I want to complain. I want to sit there and lament with you, but I can't lament with you anymore because I almost got frostbite walking into school the last few days.
Well, I don't want to tell you I'm wearing shorts right now, so that probably tells you where I'm at with
shorts.
Outside of all day today is shorts. So that tells you it was freezing in the morning. I'll give them that. It was 33 degrees out here in poor Northern California, but they got up to about 68. So I don't think we can complain too much about that weather out there.
We've also been dealing with a hell of a lot of snow. It's weird. It's a little bit different.
No snow today in the games. I thought we might get a little bit where it was at, but we got no there with it. We got Bills, Chiefs. Bills got the ball. I want to start with this right away, Jimmy, before we got on the air. I mean, you talk about an effort by Cook. I mean, this is as good as it gets right there. That effort right there to put the Bills up 22-16. Stop going for two. They take the lead here. And it looks like the Bills, what an opportunity they have, Mr. Pilato. We've been saying it all year. The Chiefs can be got. This is the year to get on the Bills. This is your year. They make a nice little comeback here in the second half. They're playing with more tenacity. They're getting Cook the ball a little bit more. He's running well. What you kind of make of this game as we're kind of getting to the start of the fourth quarter here?
When the Bills are successful is when they're either moving fast because the 2-minute drill and the one drive that they had, the touchdown drive before that, they were going a little bit more no huddle, up tempo. My co-host, I'll give him credit. I'll shout out Nico because he's been kind of spot on the last few weeks, not necessarily with picking the games, but talking about how the games are going to go. And he said it, James Cook, the running game is going to be the X factor and the team that can establish a better running effort. And right now that's been the Buffalo Bills with James Cook getting that last touchdown, Josh Allen converting with his legs. They're about to go for it on another 4th and inches. Because they can't do anything but get in a 4th and inches situation. Josh Allen, that one is a little bit closer. The tush push galore on this drive. And I have no idea if they got that one, but it's a 1-point game right now, and it's a physical football game. It's everything that you want in a conference championship. These two teams, they have different plays where different guys are stepping up and making efforts that are you have to make legendary efforts to make it to the Super Bowl. I think back to all the last few years, there's been 1 or 2 plays that you can see and you can say are defining legacy plays. And that's what the team that's made it to the Super Bowl and then obviously went on to win the Super Bowl has taken advantage of.
So it looks like they didn't get it. That's what I'm looking like right here.
It doesn't look like it. I think they're going to be short. And
you talk about a game-changing play there, Jimmy. That is that stopped me. Now they have the ball on the 41-yard line.
They get it back on their own 40. So it's a 1-point deficit right now. They have the chance. The Bills defense in the second half has stepped up. They're using Milano in a really good way of trying to keep Patrick Mahomes contained. And when they don't crash their defensive ends, which I don't know why every single defensive coordinator this year has decided that crashing their defensive ends is a good idea, especially it's the left defensive end, so the quarterback's right-handed side, and you're just giving Patrick Mahomes 15 extra yards to scramble out and see if he can make a play or let Travis Kelce get lost in the middle of the field. The defense is doing what they need to. This offense, honestly, at that point, they were a little bit in no man's land, so I guess I can see going for it on 4th down. That one seemed a little bit more reasonable. Some of them have been a little bit more like, why? Why are you doing that?
That's just tough not to get at that time right there.
We've talked about it the last 2 years. What does Sean McDermott do in the playoffs? He plays not to lose. So now he's at least putting his balls on the table and playing to win. But that is a very risky proposition that he just did. And now Kansas City has a little bit more momentum. You have to get a stop. You have to rely on your defense, and that has not been your strong suit. You already have 2 starters out. That guy in the beginning, I didn't see the play. I was listening to the game on the radio, and Kevin Harlan did an amazing job describing it. I will give him that credit. I know he's great on TV, but him on radio is something different. Kevin Harlan described that player going out. That defense, it's so shaky. I don't know if I'd be putting my faith in them.
Do you think that the Bills here, did they get a bad call in this fourth? Is this one where is this an obvious one?
One
No,
was short. I think that one was for sure short because they stuffed them up and moved him to the side. Chris Jones, like I said, you have players stepping up in big moments, and Chris Jones stepped up in that moment. He didn't allow for Josh Allen to convert yet another tush push.
It's hard for me not to look as we kind of this game moves on here. I'm sorry, just when you play a team like the Chiefs and you left 2 points out there, I'm not saying it's game changing or what, but it feels like it could be when every point matters. And I mean, they definitely took 1 point off the board on the field goal there, and they decided not to go for it on the others. I'm just saying hypothetically could be 24-21 here. I just don't. I don't know. I don't like that feeling here going into a fourth quarter when you left 2 points out on the board.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're of the mindset too. They know. I mean, you have to. You cannot grow within your comfort zone, so you're going to have to take some shots that you haven't been deeming necessary. They're officially reviewing it right now, so I'll get the official word, but I can't see them going back on the call on the field in this one. That one seemed pretty straightforward. Josh Allen you're going to have the opportunity to either go down and ice the game, or you're going to have to go down and score and get the lead back and win the game that way. I think that's what we're shaping up to have happen, because I can't imagine if Kansas City goes on any kind of a drive, they're going to take at least 5 minutes off the clock. So you're going to have 7 minutes to go down and do whatever else you have to. I don't know what they're going to end up having to do with this team, but you're giving the Chiefs a chance, which is a bad omen, especially this season. And
officially, I got word here. It is Chiefs.
First and 10 going the other way. Chiefs have the ball in the 40.
And it looks like Mahomes just got a nice little run. Yeah, they've had a little hard time containing his legs today.
I feel like they're just trying to shut to shut the big play down, shut Kelsey down the middle.
This is when the Chiefs struggle, though, Jimmy, the whole year, that second half. Like, it feels like, well, I mean, honestly, it feels like they got the 21 points. They haven't scored yet. It does seem like this is why the games have been a little closer. They can't pull away like they used to. And the Bills are obviously meeting, obviously a great team. But I'm just saying this is where the Chiefs are. This kind of tends to be their trend throughout the season.
They've been able to put it together in the moments that they need it. That's the one thing. They have a lot of guys on their team with the clutch gene. So I can't imagine that 87 isn't going to find some space open in the middle. And Mahomes is probably going to make a couple more scramble magic plays. This defensive line has done a good job, and they're not giving up huge personal foul penalties. But then when you're not tackling guys in the open field and they just let Juju Smith-Schuster catch the ball right down the middle and go for an extra 30 yards on a catch and run because you can't tackle in your secondary, that's not how you close out a game. This is why everybody's so pissed off at the Kansas City Chiefs. They're playing the game the right way in the fourth quarter, and so far Buffalo has had 3 plays, and they look like absolute shit in the biggest moment of the game.
And right now you got the Chiefs driving here. They've got a big play to Schuster here to give them a good chance to score here. Allen, his numbers here, 16 for 23, 164 yards and a touchdown, 10 rushing attempts, 26 yards. Mahomes, 8 rush attempts for 35 yards. He has 178 and a touchdown. So basically numbers pretty similar. The Chiefs do have that turnover in the game as well earlier there on the fumble. So we'll see where we're at here as we kind of continue to go here. Chiefs making a move. Maybe it comes down to what happened in 2022, right? Whoever has the ball last. It's kind of what maybe it feels like in some ways.
I hope that's what it ends up being, because right now it seems like the Chiefs are going down to score, and with the momentum that they're gaining on this drive, it's hard for me to believe that Buffalo is just going to turn around. Like, they're going to have time, but they're not going to be able to use that time. I see this so often in the wrestling matches where they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we have a 1-point lead, coach. I got a 1-point lead." He's not going to score. He's just going to be as aggressive as possible. He's not going to score within that last 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
The Bills got to hold them to a field goal here. I mean, you hold them to that, you still have that chance to win on a field goal. Bass has been really good for them.
They're getting treated like Kareem Hunt's ex-girlfriend right now.
They're right. He's running really. He's had a couple of. He just gets what's the saying with him? 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It does feel like that's what he gets on his runs. He does run hard. He had one earlier in the game where he got stopped like 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage and still somehow gained 2 yards, like the best 2-yard run he had all year. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on this. We'll give you some live reaction to it. I'll kind of keep it up on the screen here a little bit too. It looks like What do we got here?
Touchdown, Chiefs.
Run.
Patrick Mahomes scramble touchdown.
Man, that they just can't guard that today, Jimmy. I mean,
they're gonna go for 2 and make it a full touchdown lead,
which they should. They should do that. Tell me when we're about to call height. There, you give us the play-by-play on that one. They're at the Chiefs and Bills. Are they stacked up here?
No, they're. I'm still seeing the replay of the touchdown. That was a designed run. They're actually using. I mean, they're leaning into what's working. He's scrambling well, and now they're letting him run on design runs, and he's making the Bills pay. This seems so similar to that Titans AFC Championship game. I don't know. All right, here we go. Shotgun formation, double twin set, running back to the right. Mahomes making adjustments at the line. Bills look like they're going to send pressure. They got everybody stuffed up. Smith-Schuster goes in motion to the right. From the 3-yard line, Mahomes gets the shotgun snap, pump fakes, finds the back of the end zone. Noah Gray, DeMar Hamlin not able to hold up in coverage. And Christian Watson, Watson is going to get the 2-point conversion. 29-22 Kansas City.
All right, 10-14 left. Bills, tough here. They do have the chance to tie it up, though. So we'll see what Allen is made of. That was a championship drive, you would say, by the Chiefs in that.
Taylor Swift is loving it.
God, Jimmy, a 4th down stop. I mean, come on. They've had a hard time in those today. They got a few, but it hasn't been easy when he's got these 4th and 1s or these 4th.
They're not as good as at the tush push as they seem to think they are, and as good as you think they would be with a guy like Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it shows you what that center means in that regard there. So as we get to break there, let's hit on that game real quick with the tush push and Barkley and the Eagles.
The legacy play came early in this game.
Man,
the legacy play was very early. The first touch of the football game, Saquon Barkley said, "Cute story. You've bottled me up. Oh, you've bottled me up except for like 3 explosive plays that I've had against you all season. Cute. That 3-yard average, I'm about to bump that up. I'm going to beef those numbers up real quick. Don't worry."
I mean,
watch this.
I thought Nico hit on it pretty well last week when he was on about the rookie quarterback in championship games. It's not necessarily a diss to Daniels. It's just kind of the reality of what football is. You usually have to wait your turn in these things. It's kind of just the way it goes.
They put a lot on him early. That was not a game plan that I was expecting with a rookie quarterback where you're like coming out and throwing the football. You have Brian Robinson, you have Austin Eckler, you have Terry McLaurin. Let's throw some screens. Let's get the ball out on the edge. Let's run the football a little bit. Hopefully your defense can hold up and not give up a 70-yard touchdown on the first play of the game that they go out there. But you were in it. Like, it was a close game up until halftime. You had your chances. You just let it get way over your head because you're like, oh, our quarterback will save us. He saved us all year. Do you really want to rely on a guy who's never been in that situation before against a team of guys that have – this is a very recent championship roster. Like, a lot of those guys that are on the field for Philly, especially on their offense, have been there for the previous championship run. Saquon Barkley is one of the few guys that hasn't, and he's the one that's stepping up from the jump. Like, that was, I think, a bad game plan and a bad design to put everything on Jayden Daniels right away.
I mean, and what was it, Brown? He fumbled right away. And then they have the big fumble at the kind of right below the 2-minute mark there. And
that Milky Way secondary is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, they got run on.
DeJean making the tackle and Blankenship recovering the fumble. White guys are back as DBs. Let's go.
Jason Sehorn shout. I thought that they would win by 10 points this morning when we did our podcast. I just think that we haven't really seen a running back with that type of power to take it to the house this much. To me,
that was terrible tackling. That was 3 or 4 guys that just didn't even wrap on him. So it's him running as hard as he is. He has a knack for it. You got to give him that.
And
I think that it's a different way that he's running.
7 straight weeks too. But 6 or more.
It's obviously a different way that he's running because it's a better offensive line and the holes are bigger. But I think that he works a lot with the offensive line coach. I think he goes to Stoutland. I've heard stories of him going and figuring out these run blocking concepts so he knows where these guys are trying to push people to. And that's where the clip from last week comes from. Hey, watch this, because he read the defensive front that they were in, knows the blocking scheme of what they were going to do, says, oh, I have a safety that nobody's going to get to, and that's the one guy that I have to beat, and I have these 5 horses up front that are all going to block somebody 8 yards downfield. I'll take that. I'll take those odds every single day of the week.
Would they have Blankenship? He had to take over for center. They didn't really miss a beat with the Tom Brady.
Landon Dickerson.
He was making the comment about how it could affect the tush push or and stuff like that. Didn't seem
That's
to
a
at all.
6'6", 300. That's what I said. I tweeted it out during the game. Mekhi Becton is 6'7", 364. That's their right guard.
Yeah.
When they have Landon Dickerson at center, he's 6'6", 330. That is, you run the ball right. A gap to the right side. Nobody's going to make it into that hole because those two guys fill up that hole more than anything. Their left guard struggled today. I think they were rotating guys at their left guard position.
Yeah.
I think they're good enough that they can still, whoever they end up playing out of the AFC Championship, you're still going to have to deal with an all-world offensive line no matter who's there. But now Juergens has a little bit of time to get healthy. He was on the sideline in uniform, so I think he could have been able to play. Huge play by the Bills. James Cook gets the ball out of the backfield on 2nd and 1, takes it deep into Chiefs territory. So the Bills are going to make a game out of this. This is going to be fun. But Cam Juergens could have played today.
Yeah, and I think with the kind of back to Barkley, when you said like he wasn't the best tackling. Again, when he had 7 straight games now with a 60-yard touchdown run or more. I mean, that's take it to the house type. You don't see that. We haven't had that running back. It feels like in the league for a while. To where he's having a season like this.
It's like youth football.
Yeah.
And it surprises you at every level that you move up. In high school, I was like, why aren't we breaking these 80-yard runs like we used to in youth? Oh, because we're playing against better guys. Why am I not breaking these 80 to 90-yard touchdown runs in college like in the NFL like I used to in college? Well, these guys are playing better and they're playing for millions of dollars. Saquon Barkley hasn't ever ran into that situation. Every single level of football, he's been able to grab the ball and go to the house.
Yeah, and he's having just a remarkable season. The Eagles get there on it. Before we kind of fully go to the Eagles, any final thoughts on the Commanders here?
I think they won't want to hear it, that it's house money, and it's a little bit worse because you got beat up so badly in this championship situation. First time you were there in 30 years, so you broke the curse. Things look like they're looking up, and this ownership group looks like they're trying to do things the right way, and there does seem to be some sort of cosmic karma of getting rid of Dan Snyder and all of a sudden having your most successful season in 3 decades. So I think that they're in a good place, but they are going to, their defense struggled. Their offensive line didn't have the depth because when Cosme was down today, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis made the offense's life a living hell. So they have a lot of holes that they need to fill, but they have the biggest one figured out, I think, because, again, this is the same situation that C.J. Stroud was in last year with Houston, and we saw the Texans struggle in that year too. But this is a team that they have the weapons. They have the quarterback. Matt Collins, big catch down the middle.
Man, he's been awesome for them today.
Down at the 4.
32-yard game. That's a pretty good. That's a good right there.
Mahomes is going to have to come back out swinging.
I feel like the Bills, this is where they're getting too run heavy with Allen. They got to do something different here. They
just need to throw the ball because everybody's running free in the secondary.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like you'll have to give us the play-by-play or maybe in a second here. I don't like that. I feel like they're running him too much almost a little bit right now. It's too obvious. It feels like around the goal line. So we got 1st and goal here on the 4-yard line.
I just got to 2nd and goal. They ran him again on 1st and goal, Darren.
Okay, so they did run him. I said, you give me the 2nd and goal here. What are they in? What are they setting up in here? Are they going jumbo?
Breaking the huddle, going right to left. They're in shotgun, trips, bunch formation to the left side. James Cook's also split to the left. I don't think that's going to be – they're either running a toss to that side or they're going to move him to the other side. Nope. Got a pass formation. Allen dropping back, sprints out to his right, dropping all the way back to the 16, throws it out of bounds to the end zone, just trying to save yardage.
All right.
3rd and goal.
3rd and goal here. You give me that here when we get to it in a second. Big play here. I mean, this is they're going 2-down territory again.
I don't
give
like
it to Cook. Why haven't we given it to Cook 1st or 2nd down? He's been running
he's also
well.
rolling. He rolled to the right, and they had their trips bunch formation to the left. He's rolling away from all of the receivers that they had set up. They sent James Cook on a route to the left too. Come on, Josh, run to where you got guys.
Sounds like a 1-look run option pass there. That's probably what that was.
All right, here we go. Tight twins to the right side, twins spread out left. And we're going to get a timeout called because they were running out of time. Chiefs call a timeout.
Chiefs call the timeout, 29-22. Jimmy will be back with the
6:23 left in the 4th quarter.
Big possession here. Big possession, obviously. Do they go for two? No, I was kidding. Do they go for the lead when they get it? I mean, this is the game. To me, this was the game of the year. Leading up to it, I know that's like the whole year. You could just feel. It felt like this was kind of. I know the Ravens were in that mix, but it just felt like it was the Bills' time, based on the last year, and the Chiefs. They had that game a couple of years ago. So I'm glad we're getting a classic like we are now with it. The Bills, this is what we talked about. Can they finish the job in clutch moments, right? This is one of those situations.
My question
down earlier,
as we're waiting for the timeout to end, I heard this brought up on one of the other shows, but is Spagnuolo a Hall of Famer, even if he never gets another head coaching job? The guy's won 5 Super Bowls as a coordinator, possibly going to be 6, and one of them would be a three-peat at that point. And this year and last year, everybody said that the defense is the reason why they've won the Super Bowl.
It's interesting you brought that up. I talked about that too with a buddy of mine. Like
we'll get to it after because now they're lined up again. He's got Johnson in the backfield, trips to the left, single receiver right. He goes to the one receiver side, fade in the end zone to Coleman, and that was never gonna. McDuffie had him wrapped up like a blanket.
Do you take the points? Or the 3, or do you go for the touchdown? You keep the ball right now.
You got 6:20 left. You got 3 timeouts. I can tell you what they're going to do because Josh Allen hasn't moved off the field. I think McDermott might be talking in his headset, like, get off the field. I want to throw the kicking team out there, and I don't think Allen's leaving. So they are going to go for it. It's 4th down and goal from the 3-yard line, and they've had absolutely nothing once they've got inside the 5. It's from the 4, from the 4.
Hypothetically, before you give me the play-by-play here, they could, if they don't get this, that'd be 5 points. They may be left off the board here.
5 points. Jet motion to the left side. He's coming around. Orbit motion. Allen takes the snap. A little bit of pressure. Throws to the back of the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown.
And just like that, McDermott gives me the middle.
Samuel. Curtis Samuel in the back of the end zone. Bills touchdown, and now they're an extra point away from tying it.
All right, Mr. Bass, you got to make it. You got to make sure you get this one to make it happen. So, man, what a clutch drive, as they say. That's a big time drive. Now the ball.
The guy they sent a guy in orbit motion, and the Chiefs got all out of sorts. And then nobody follows Samuel on a crossing pattern. It was zone coverage, and nobody carried him through the back.
What a game we have here. I'll get that up here on the board when I get the update with it here. What a game, though. I mean, we were expecting this. It's kind of fun about doing the podcast when we have this. We had this kind of last year.
PAT is good. Tie game. 6:15 left.
All right, so we got it. It's tied up here. Let me get the play up here. I got it right here for us. So let's take a look at it. As Jimmy gave us the call live.
Allen rifles it open. It's Samuel for the touchdown.
Wide open there in the back of the end zone. Like you said, that orbit kind of took him for a little bit of a loop there. Flea Market, great game. It's been good. Let's go, Bills. Yep, and me and Mr. Pilato here with you to kind of finish it up here as we get to determine who's going to take on those Philadelphia Eagles, as we were talking about before that big play to give me Mac Hollins. Yep. And then former Raider, shout out. Of course.
He was Sideshow Bob with the Raiders. He was not Mac Hollins with the Raiders.
He was not. Man,
who I haven't heard a lot of is Amari Cooper. So
yeah,
they still have a few plays that they could hit to Amari Cooper, and it feels like they're either going to get a play to him or the Chiefs are just going to continue to try and cover him up, and the rest of the team, because Kincaid's had a lot of big touches. I feel like that's why Cook is having as much success as he has, because the Chiefs are so worried about what Amari Cooper can do to them, which is why it's a good thing that they went out and got him, because they needed somebody to take some of that pressure off of Coleman and Hollins and the other guys that they have.
That play to Collins here that I'm going to get up here right now, that was a great catch here. I mean, good throw obviously too, but man, what a catch over your left shoulder like that. That was a hell of a catch to bring that in on that play. They gave him a little chance to go.
I got to start walking in the grass and bare feet and doing cold plunges and whatever else he does.
Probably exactly what he's doing. Definitely cold plunges there. Interesting here by Flea Market. Bills losing 91-94. Must have been a gut wrenching as a fan. Probably mixed emotions there, right? You get all the way to the top. You know,
I think after the second one, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I honestly, feeling it as a fan, when the Bengals lost in the AFC Championship after they went to the Super Bowl, it was kind of like, okay, If we're going to make it this far and then not actually get anything out of it, and I know how bad the team is going to be in the near future, maybe let's not get there and let's work on figuring out a way to get there and actually have a chance winning. I didn't think they had a chance of winning the Super Bowl if they'd won the AFC Championship that second season in 23. So
yeah, it gets a little demoralizing. Basically, is like that's kind of I remember when the Raiders did lose to the Bucks. I remember that like they got their ass kicked. Like that's what I remember thinking. Like, God, I go, you just kind of wish they almost even like when they at least lost to the Ravens and then the Giants beat the Ravens. It's like, oh, whatever, we lost anyways to the team that won the champ. So there is a different feeling. The Cubs a little different. The Bills made it 4 straight years in the World Series. Cubs, it felt like they've never made it. They never made it to a World Series until 2000.
And now we're waiting on the White Sox to get there.
Well, they already won one in 2006. So they got.
I believe the first one was a massive blow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the first 2 were close. The second one, I believe, was one of the wide rights, or maybe it was wide right. And
the
wide
first
left.
one was wide right versus the Giants. Shout out Whitney.
And then they got their asses handed to them by the Giants. That's what he's mentioning in the third one.
I think it's I want to say when they got their ass kicked by the Cowboys back to back. I think
the
too.
Redskins were in there too, because I'm pretty sure the Redskins won it in 91.
Yeah, so they lost to the Giants, then the Skins, and then back to the Cowboys.
They hate the NFC East.
Yeah, they did it. They definitely did not do very well. You're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
That was the NFC Beast days.
You're right. They did have a chance there. Yeah, that third time they lost. Yeah, that one.
We've had 4 lead changes in this AFC Championship game.
Man, crazy. And where we got right here, we got the Chiefs here. Big play to Kareem Hunt. Face mask on the play by Milano. So the Chiefs now already moving up past the 50-yard line.
You can't trust those wops in big situations. Those freaking Italian Dagos don't know what to do.
This is big for the Bills. They gotta hold them to a field goal here. I mean, give Allen a chance to win it. You know what I mean? He just went all the way down. Give him a chance to win it. It's Mahomes versus Allen.
Don't give up any points, possibly. That would be even better.
That would be definitely better, but they're already in good position to get some points already on the board. Unless they get a sack here, we're down to 5.
A huge penalty because it moved him across midfield too.
Yep, and then it looks like Mahomes hits Kelsey for 11 yards here, so they're already on the Bills 36 as we're moving forward.
How do you lose a Hall of Fame tight end?
They've done okay on him today. But they've hit Worthy for some. Worthy's been pretty good today, or at least in the first half, I thought he was really good. Kind of getting open on some plays with it. Yeah, Giants. And then remember one of my favorite old NFC East teams, the Arizona Cardinals. Like, let's just put them in the NFC East. I just remember back.
That was like the Houston being in the same division as Pittsburgh and Cincinnati for a long time.
Oh man, that was right.
What are we doing? They hate going to they hate the end of the season. They have to go up to Cincinnati and Pittsburgh where there's no dome and it's cold.
That's exact. You were talking about Spagnuolo being possibly a Hall of Famer. I wanted to get back to that point real quick as the game's moving on. Jimmy, you keep me updated on if something happens. You just cut me off. I was thinking about that. Nick Saban had a good pod. I don't usually listen to podcasts. I've seen a lot of shorts that kind of maybe listen to it. Is the one that's like Ryan Clark. I think it's Crowder. I think it's the guy.
It's the pivot. Jamison Crowder, Ryan Clark, and Fred Taylor.
Yeah, and he makes a point about assistant coaches not being in the Hall of Fame. And the guy I always think of is the guy that used to be the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive coordinator is LeBeau. And if he's not in, I don't think Spagnuolo. You get my point. Is like, or I feel like there would be some wrongdoing in that. I think Saban makes
Worthy. God damn it.
Where's he at right now?
They just went out of bounds at the 10, so it'll be first and goal.
All right. So we get there. But I just thought that was a good point by him saying, like, acknowledging, like, these are elite coaches that won multiple Super Bowls. Maybe they're not the head coach, but they're just as responsible. You know that Mike Tomlin's counting on LeBeau, right? You get my point? Like, he doesn't win it without him or something like that.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, not Chuck Noll. I think Noll relied on LeBeau as a player. But no, Cowher relied on him as the defensive coordinator. There's guys that, I mean, Marvin Lewis was the architect behind the Baltimore Ravens defense when I can't remember now. I can't think of the guy Brian Billick was the head coach. Who he's a great writer and I think he's like trained as a lawyer and stuff like that too. Bill's got a sack on first and goal. Nice,
big play there, big play.
Flea Market's hitting me in the fields.
Yeah, he's got you. He got Bengals run again. We got Will Burrow.
No, it'll just hurt me. I don't want to be hurt again.
TJ, who's your daddy, was the man. No, it's I love it. Like, who's your daddy? Wait, always like that.
Did you see that? It's funny he brings up TJ Houshmandzadeh. Did you see that Joe Mixon got fined for TJ Houshmandzadeh's tweet?
No.
Houshmandzadeh was saying that the refs are trash and how are we going to allow this to continue to happen in these Chiefs games? And Mixon got fined $25,000. And then Mixon tweeted out that they fined him for something that he didn't even say. And he got fined another $20,000 on top of that. The NFL is the worst place. We talk about all these. It's probably Apple factories in China, all of the other places where they traffic people, and then the NFL in level of places you do not want to work and be an employee.
No, what that? Exactly. Yes, I would have had to copy and paste that as well. There's no way I'm getting that. I'm not spelled that right. We got fourth down. It looks like, Jimmy. It looks like we got fourth down.
You're a little bit ahead of me, so I'll wait until it's 3rd and goal. I'm seeing 3rd and goal from the 17. Jesus.
All right, I got 3rd and goal too. It popped out a little differently on me.
Mahomes drops back under pressure, rolling out to the right, gets the ball away. So we're going to have 4th and goal from the 17.
All right, so they'll get the field goal attempt here. 35 yards out, it should be about.
Is Nagy going to get a head coaching job, or is it next season? Nagy. Because I just saw him on the sidelines talking to Mahomes. I forget that he's the offensive coordinator because we spend so much time on Andy Reid.
He's the type of guy I feel like he probably shouldn't deserve it for a little bit longer. That's just me kind of like he had a rough run there with the Bears, I felt like, for a while.
I would not have a lot of faith in him, that's for sure.
No, that kind of would feel like a Dennis Allen type hire to me again. Like the hired him.
Who's the guy that the Cowboys just hired? Because that was a terrible.
We're getting to him too, Schottenheimer.
Yeah,
Ryan Schottenheimer. They got that. They signed Ryan.
32-29 Chiefs. Butker made it.
So as we kind of get to the final, to basically the bread and butter here of the AFC Championship game, I would say this has kind of been the build up all season. We got 4 minutes left. You have MVP versus MVP. Basically, it feels like going at it here to finish it. The Bills have. I feel everybody in the AFC has been at the mercy of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Only Joe Burrow has really been able to overcome them recently.
They're showing the 18-second comeback right now. That's awesome.
I'm sure Bills fans are enjoying that very much. But, Jimmy, this is talk about a golden opportunity to make a legacy, right? Just saying, like, to kind of grow that legacy, these are the games that –
Funny, because that's his fiance's nickname in Pitch Perfect is Legacy. So – I've been telling like I love Blazing Saddles. I'm a huge fan of the sarcastic, cheesy comedies from the olden days and the mayors, like Missing the Pen. Think of your secretary. Thank you for that one. That was awesome.
Who did he marry again then from that show, Pitch Perfect?
He's been engaged to Haley Steinfeld.
All right,
Nico and I, for whatever reason, can't go in an episode where we're talking about Josh Allen without bringing up his girlfriend for some reason. I don't know. If you want to throw her up on the screen, we might get a little bit of boost in numbers or something.
My wife's a big Pitch Perfect fan. I'm trying to think which one of the.
It's the one that's the mom, Katie Siegel, the mom from Married with Children. It's in the second one when they go back and they have the whole thing and they take the legacy in. She's the new girl, and then she's the one that writes the original song at the end.
Yeah,
come on, you're not a Pitch Perfect guy.
Well, now that I know who you're saying,
we've seen one, and then we saw 2, 3, and 4 all in theaters as a family. 20 of us as a family saw Pitch Perfect 2, 3, and 4.
That's one of my wife's favorite movies. So yeah, we get that on there. Yeah, Cedric Benson, yes, former Bear, Texas, as well. Yes, he did not make it any farther. So 29-32 here. Bills have the ball on the 42-yard line. It looks like Allen made a nice little run there to get to the 42. Jimmy, this is, like I said, this is a legacy type drive. We'll see if they can finish the job off. The one thing good about if they do score a touchdown here is like before, how Mahomes needed a field goal. He'll need a touchdown to win the game. So there is a little bit of a difference there with if they can actually get the job done and get a touchdown.
You don't want to go into overtime. Not in the playoffs. The Chiefs in overtime situations in the playoffs are just a fucking nightmare. Because they either get a chance to tie you with a touchdown or beat you with a touchdown 2-point conversion, or they're just going to score a touchdown. And then we remember from last year, right? In the new overtime rules, you want to be the second team to get the ball because you either have the chance to no matter what, you have the chance to win and end it as the second team with the ball. But I know you don't want to go into that situation with this team again. I know that talk about mental demons. Buffalo would burn down in anticipation of that situation. I feel like that would be worst case, last case scenario for them.
I think we're going to have a big third down in here in a minute. I'm going to want you to give me the play-by-play on that one here. When we
I'm
get
still
to the
seeing
third down.
2nd and 10.
I think we're going to have a big third down here on the possession. Looks like he throws an incomplete pass to Samuel on it.
Yeah.
You let me know when you're about close to that, and they set up. I'm curious what they go with. This is it's probably 4-down territory. Maybe not. I would think it is. They have 3 timeouts, Jimmy. Yeah, but I would still think this is definitely 4-down territory. So you've gone for it so many times at this point. Either why lose the game by not keeping it? I think this is what I think you're.
Your
going
punter's
for
not one anymore. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might as well.
You might as well just go for it. Got to win it.
The thing about the incomplete pass, I guess maybe it's a good thing, is that they still have they technically have 4 timeouts if they can convert this. So 3rd down and 10, they come to the line, double twins, shotgun formation, back to the right. Allen makes a check, 5 seconds on the play clock. We're going to see if they take a timeout here. Nope, they get the ball off. It's a quick screen out to the right. Cooper jumps over an offensive lineman, but he only gets 5 yards on 3rd down, so it's going to be 4th and 5.
They're going for it. I think out of this break,
they're going to get they're going to let the 2-minute warning go, so they're going to have time to talk about it. They're in a very precarious situation. I mean, I feel like, no matter what, if you punt the ball back, you're probably not going to get it back. The Chiefs had 2 timeouts. You have 3 timeouts. That sucks. I don't know what that was a bad, terrible play call. A smoke screen, alert smoke screen on 4th down and 10.
So they have 5 yards here for the season. Not for the season. I shouldn't get ahead of myself, but 5 yards. It feels
5
like.
yards for the season. If your defense can't force another turnover, except the Chiefs haven't had a turnover all season except for the last time that they played you, week 10.
And at that point, you're going to have to go 65 yards for a field goal attempt with no timeouts left.
It's going to be 2022 all over again, isn't it? Or 2023, whenever the last time was. The Kelsey Bowl. Damn it.
Well, like I said, the Bills, the biggest play, if the Bills look back at this, the biggest play for them is going to be that 4th and 1 they didn't get just recently. So that's going to be –
Don't spam the damn quarterback sneak. It doesn't work.
Did you feel like Allen was a little bit off early? I thought he missed some throws early in the game. There was that one – I guess the one particular stands out to me where it was a crossing route, and he just threw it so low, and the guy had to draw. I think it was Samuel who had to draw. He ended up dropping the ball, but if he would have threw a good pass, he probably would have had 25 more yards on the run there. And then he made a few other decisions early, in that first drive. I thought he just looked not as sharp to start the game as he's kind of starting to get in the groove. And even in a game like this, he made some big plays, but I don't know. I just feel like he has high expectations, an MVP for me. So I just feel like a little bit off, just a little bit.
He did not play up to the level that he has all season. I don't think that it was. He was stuffed up at the line and went sideways. If you fall forward in that situation, yes, I think you get it. But he fell sideways because the Chiefs defense didn't stop and the Bills offense did.
What do you think about this real quick?
That's the one that I was addressing. If he would have gone forward at the end, it's probably a first down, or they're at least able to overturn it, or you have somewhat of a case to make. But he went into the line, got stopped, and went to the side. And when you go to the side, they don't give you that extra benefit of where you stopped, forward progress.
Everybody that wants the Chiefs to lose is, they would have got it, right? That's where that energy
It's going to come back down to the refs aided the Chiefs again. But I will say the Bills got a lot of Chiefs penalties. The Chiefs had the most amount of penalties that I've seen for a long time in a game that I've had to watch them. And I don't know if maybe it's a reaction to everything that they heard the blowback last week. I don't know. 4th down and 5. Here we go. We got quads out left, single receiver right. Josh Allen alone in the shotgun. They're going to motion into the backfield. Pressure, jailbreak right away. He's got to get rid of it deep down the field. And Kincaid can't come back for it. Oh.
Flea Market says it best. Dig it. Yes, I think America is a little bit of –
There is a flag. There is a flag. What is the flag? I bet you it's holding. There was a jailbreak right away. The Chiefs defensive line, the Chiefs pass rush.
They do that a lot on 4th down. They bring the house.
I don't even know if it was a blitz. It was like every single person. I saw Karlaftis and Jones in the backfield before I saw anything else.
Man, the Bills.
I got to see the replay and see what happened here, because that has to be a mistake. They're not even showing it from the beginning. They did bring a safety on that play. They brought a couple extra secondary members.
All right. Well, the Bills obviously comes down to with them getting the ball, the Chiefs on the 47.
Oh, the guard didn't touch a soul. Oh,
And they have a great offensive line too.
No, that doesn't look like it. The right guard just had a worse play than the Bengals end of the Super Bowl, where the right guard gets absolutely stuffed into Burrow's face by Aaron Donald. That was, oh man.
Jimmy, I will say this though, like it's over right now, right? It's over. It feels like it's over. The Bills defense, give your guy another chance. Give him another chance. This is what you're trying to do. 2nd and 9. Looks like they got a little bit of stop there on the run. You got 3 timeouts. I guarantee this though, they're going to run it one more time. I would think, and then the ball's going to be in Mr. Mahomes' hands.
I bet you Mahomes wins it on a scramble.
Seems like that's been kind of the theme of today, wouldn't you say? I mean, he's had a lot of success on those rollouts.
And I don't know. I guess I'll leave it to a little bit of a question. I don't know if he's going to finish the scramble himself, or it's going to open up something where they're not going to follow a guy in coverage because they want to. It's the same thing. Like I said, the Chiefs AFC Championship against the Titans, when they went to the Super Bowl and beat the 49ers for the first time, they just got to roll out to Pacheco. He's going to get a first down. Yep, first down. That's ball game.
And you can't allow that. It feels like that's been kind of the theme of today. Like I said, right before you made those comments, like you called it right before we said it. You're like, he's going to run for a first down. And that's what happened.
Put him on the move. And that's, I don't know why Buffalo, I know that it's not Josh Brady's offense, but put Josh Allen on the move. Give him half of the field to work with. Let him test the defense with his athleticism and do a little rollout with that bunch formation that you have, one way or the other. He can go both sides, and he can throw it going to his left or his right. The play calling failed them.
Well, shall we start it in a sec? I mean, honestly, it's over, right? I mean, they're going to take the knees. They only have one first down. They only have one timeout left. There's going to be
He did go out of bounds, so
there's a little time left there.
There will be some time left, and they'll be able to take a couple more timeouts. So you always have the operation error effect there, but I think that it's pretty much done.
Okay, so before we move on to the Super Bowl, we'll give it a little minute 45 here to kind of as we get into look ahead here with it. And I know you guys will obviously we'll do more previews on it. We'll do a preview before we get do the Super Bowl too, and I know you guys on your show will as well. The Bills. I think we need to spend a little now that the game's kind of moving forward here. We talked about some of the questionable plays that we've had today with it. Again, it just comes down to the Chiefs making more clutch plays at the end, right? The Bills had their chances. There's no reason they couldn't have won this game. Their chances were there. They had plenty of opportunity. And this one, as a Bill fan, probably feels like when you feel like you're cursed, right? It feels like you're cursed. You're just not going to get it.
As soon as the fourth quarter started showing on the scoreboard, the Bills coaching staff was absolutely outmatched by the Kansas City Chiefs. And it was from that moment forward that it was all up to the Bills players, and they did what they could with it. When Josh Allen had time to throw, they were able to throw it down the field. But I don't know why there wasn't an adjustment made. There had to have been a read off of that. They had everybody up on the line. Everybody that they showed blitzed, and you have an offensive lineman just standing there, just watching. Yeah. I think that now you obviously can't fire McDermott at this point because you're missed out on everybody that you could have had, like, wanted as a coach. I don't think that they're going to be able to figure it out. If they struggle at any point next season, whether they're in top of their division or not, I think that he's gone. I think that we will see him. He's going to be on the shortest leash possible because this is just, yet again, we see this all the time. You had to get past this round. You had to beat this team, and you didn't. And it pretty much came down to you.
I wonder if the one thing the Bills haven't had in this rivalry yet is the home field advantage. Like just speaking out loud and just kind of thinking through it. Not saying they can't win a game on the road. It is the one thing they haven't had yet is the home field advantage in this matchup.
Burrow never had the home field advantage in this matchup. He managed to get past it at least once.
Well, your team has bigger flaws than Mr. Burrow. That's the issue with your damn Bengals.
If the Bills have bigger flaws,
America wanted your Bengals, and they wanted it because of
I know.
Burrow.
That's what I'm saying. If they can't get past it, there is nobody else right now in the AFC. Like, you can't tell me that the Ravens would have done any. I feel like we could have had the same conversation about the Ravens. because that's exactly what happened last year in the AFC Championship too. I feel like this was inevitable with the way that the coaches reacted. And P. Ryan just got another first down. So that is ball game. Buffalo's out of timeouts.
What did you think? Should that ball have been caught there? I think it's Tony Romo making a big deal in the air. It looked like it. He was saying that should have been the one here.
It could have been caught, but it was doomed from the start because you're trying to throw the ball 30 yards down the field and you have pressure within 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, but you got to make that. That's what wins championships. Those plays right there, though. No, that's got to be a catch right there. I'm
not gonna sit here and blame Kincaid for smoke screen on 4th and 10 before that, and it was a terrible, terrible design. And there's something that did not go right in the pass protection meetings, because in the biggest moments they've had hot blitzers from the very beginning, and Josh Allen does not do well with pressure in his face.
I guess it feels like this. A Chiefs player would have made that catch. You just get my point. Like
the Chiefs player probably. I mean, maybe
that's what I'm saying.
I think that play goes bad either way. If you have the same outcome of what the offensive line did not see and don't pick up the blitz, that's going to be the same no matter what. I don't see this as a cursed play. I don't see that as a play that needs to be made. That was a play that you'd love it if it gets made, but I'm not going to sit there and say that's the reason.
It's definitely not a Mark Andrews. Definitely not a Mark Andrews.
It's not a Mark Andrews. But it's not the reason they lost. The reason they lost is because they went and they turtled. They saw the fourth quarter and shit themselves. And they're wearing all white uniforms, and you can see a brown stain going out of every single one of those Buffalo players' pants. And the biggest one right now, who's got the biggest dump in their diaper, is Sean McDermott.
Jimmy
and Joe Brady.
Jimmy, you brought it up kind of slightly. Maybe I'm going to go hot take, and maybe I'm going to go shout a little Barstool stuff with that. I kind of do like their one show they have after where I forget what it's called, Shred Line, and then people can. This kind of how I feel like if I was a Bills fan, I'd want him fired. I wouldn't want him again. I'd want him out. I'd be tired of this. You've had clutch moment after clutch moment. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You had a defense that showed up and made enough plays to win this game. You did it. You made a bad decision to go for 2. Didn't cost you, I know, point-wise. But I'm just saying, I don't think if I was a Bills fan, I would want this guy canned. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the end of the day. You got to live through it. You let these things play out. You want to marinate it. I don't know, Jimmy. I would start to be at my end of my rope here with him. He's had some great opportunities, and he has a great quarterback. And you only get so long with it, and their offense doesn't just automatically deliver all the time. Like there were some plays with James Cook there where they weren't giving him the ball enough when he was. I don't know. I wouldn't be a fan of this at all. If I was a Bills fan, I'd be pretty pissed off.
I just feel like at this point you have to ride out at least the beginning of next season with him. And I don't think that he has, like I said, he doesn't have any room for error. I don't think that it's out there to say that he's on the hot seat. I just don't think that they can fire him right now, because who are you going to bring in to replace him?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Unless you can sneak in there really quickly and maybe steal Mike McCarthy away from New Orleans, unless that's already been finalized. But I don't know if you're in a better situation, because for anything else, this team does like Sean McDermott. So you also have to run the risk of alienating players. If next season starts off terrible, or it's not going the way and it seems like it's going to happen all again, and you don't want to repeat history, then you can maybe go to the guys in the locker room and say, I know that you like the guy, but we obviously can't get this done with him. I don't know what it is, but he can't get this done here.
Man, so the Chiefs advance again, 3rd Super Bowl, Jimmy. As we
8th time in Patrick Mahomes' career.
So as we look at that, as we look ahead to the Chiefs versus Eagles a little bit here, this is the matchup of 2 years ago, right?
Same as 2 years ago.
Same 2 years ago. I would say the Eagles definitely have a better roster than they had then. That's my, they didn't have Barkley, and they didn't have, I don't believe they had AJ Brown that year either. So, and they didn't have a Smith that year either. So, I feel like they're set up. Their offensive line is as good as it gets in the NFL. The Bills had a great offensive line too. The Chiefs going for history.
They're the
only team to not lose in the championship round, going for a three-peat. So they said it on the air. 3 out of 8 teams. So 8 teams had got to this point of the championship round when they were going for a three-peat. Only 3 made it to the championship round. None have made it to the Super Bowl. So the Chiefs have already made history there, making it. But Jimmy, we're looking in our lifetime and NFL history time as the Chiefs have ultimate history on the line here.
Ultimate history on the line. And it's funny because we were worried about them winning this many Super Bowls, but this is also a franchise that went 50 years in between 1 and 2. It's crazy that I don't know if Andy Reid made some deal. I don't know if he's just that much smarter than everybody else. But if I go back, there's the videos that keep popping up, all the guys that were drafted the same year that Patrick Mahomes was. And you can talk about the referees and this and that. He's won games. He's like an 80% career average of winning games as a starter. His minimum is making it to the AFC Championship game and losing. That is the minimum amount of season that you get with him. So all of the hate, all of this, I don't want to see him anymore. I don't want to see him any more than anybody else does. But at some point, you do have to understand that this is the greatest start to a career, and it's better than Brady's initial start to his career. It's better than any of the 3 Hall of Fame careers that Brady had. And if it continues, this is going to be the greatest football player to ever walk the earth.
I feel like Alexander Hobbs makes an interesting point here. Shout out to Alexander tuning in here as the game's been ending. Jimmy, it feeds to your point right there. I'm getting blown up by my friends right now. This sucks. I don't want, and obviously they're all going to watch the Super Bowl. Like we're all going to watch it, and it's all going to. So nothing
at
like
least
that.
To see SZA at halftime, right?
At least to see that, but no, NFL's a monopoly. Everybody's watching this game. That's an NFL fan. It is what it is, but everybody does. I think if you're outside of Kansas City, there is that feeling. You just want something new, right? You kind of want that thing, but it's at the same time. You got to
knock him out of there. You got to take him out of it.
And that's my thing with the Bills. That's what frustrates me about this loss, Jimmy, is they had it. But what you're explaining, they had that. Oh my God. They had it as a football. You're a football player. You played at way higher level than I ever could have dreamed of. I mean, this is the opportunity that you're looking. You have the ball. You have a chance to win. You do all that preseason. What was it, Bill Parsons? That's why we lift all those weights. I mean, this is what you're doing it for, and you just can't get over that hump. And I'm not saying McDermott's the problem. I'm just saying is a new voice needed, and and it's hard to watch, I guess, at times like that. But it's hard for me as somebody that's in the division with the Chiefs. At the same time, you have to respect the fact that they win all these close games. I mean, they have a knack for it, and it's. I don't know. It's annoying, but it also is something that's never going to happen probably again, or not for a while. And nobody thought this is the whole reason of the salary cap, to try to prevent stuff like this.
They've just been able to overcome it because their coaches, it's maybe taking the time to make sure that everybody's healthy, or, they just have some way of getting their message across better than any of the other coaching staff in the NFL. And they do it on a very consistent basis. And they've played, what is it? They've made it to the Super Bowl the last 3 seasons, which means they've played a minimum of 20 games a season. So this will be their 60th game in 3 years. And they're still getting guys to play as hard as they can and win. And they're able to flip whatever switch we thought they couldn't flip this season. That's why I've tried to be that guy in the past that says this is the end of the dynasty. I'm just not going to be that guy anymore. I'll just ride the dynasty until it actually dies, because I don't know. I don't know when it's going to die. I don't know if they're making it back to a 4th Super Bowl in a row. That seems a little bit ridiculous, but this seemed ridiculous too. I didn't realize that there were 8 teams that had the chance to three-peat. I never thought that I would ever see something close to a three-peat in my lifetime.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, obviously in the Bay Area, the Giants and Roger Craig's fumble with the Niners. That was a close one out there in the 90s. We just talked about the Bills with it. I just want to get Mahomes' quick little thoughts here on the game, or it's part of some of his post game here. Here it goes.
In this moment. And now for you guys have the opportunity to head back to a Super Bowl and keep the chances of a three-peat alive. We knew it would come down to the wire. How do you even describe this opportunity at hand?
First off, I want to give all glory to God. Without him, none of this is possible, and I truly mean that. And I'm just so proud of my teammates, man, how they responded. That was a great football team, and I'm just lost for words. I'm excited for New Orleans.
You talked about your teammates, whether it was Worthy, whether it was you with your legs, and then the defense on that 4th down stop. What is it about this team that continuously gets it done?
Yeah, I think I've always said it. It's not about one guy. It's not about a couple guys. It's about the whole entire team. And when we needed the defense to get stops, they got stops. Offense, we made plays. That's why we're so special, because it's a team effort and it's a team football game.
Jimmy, 17 postseason wins already, like you said, to start his career. Brady's at 35. And he's had a lot of buys to start his first round out. So it's not like he's been wrapping up a lot of wild card rounds.
He's only played in the wild card round one time in his career.
So he's an automatic. Let's just hypothetically, would he be a first ballot Hall of Famer if it ended tomorrow?
If he continued to play after this season, if they win the Super Bowl,
like he never played again, would he be first ballot in your opinion?
I would say that if he never played again, yeah. But even if he plays for another 10 years after winning the Super Bowl and doesn't win anything else, but maybe, stays consistent and is consistently winning a handful, at least winning more games than he loses, he'd still be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Even if he had a crappy end to his career, that's a Hall of Fame career just by itself. Just look at that. That's perfect. That's everything that everybody's ever wanted in a quarterback.
Initially, what do you feel like the Eagles bring to the table that the Chiefs might have a hard time with, that maybe like anybody in the AFC hasn't? They played them well the first time in the Super Bowl, but again, the Chiefs had the second half got a run there. So kind of your initial thoughts here.
They won't be able to run the football because that defensive line for Philly is that good.
Even with Barkley.
No, I'm saying.
You're saying that they will be able to run it.
The Chiefs won't be able to run the football.
I got you.
So they won't have that element. I would like to think that they would keep them a little bit more contained, but we saw it tonight. When you shut down the running game, or at least try to, and shut down the passing game, you're going to lose somebody. I don't think they're going to lose him. I think the X factor for me is Zach Bond. Because Zach Bond, we didn't get to talk about him when we were talking about the Eagles game. He's had 2 weeks in a row where he's the best defensive player on the field, and he's stepping up for Nakobe Dean, which is a guy that we thought was going to kill their season when he went down. That is a guy that will be able to hold down the middle of the field in pass coverage. He makes big plays. This defense is opportunistic. This is the best defense that the Chiefs have played in a long time on this run. This defense is way better than the Bills' defense. This offensive line for the Eagles is way better than the Chiefs' defensive line and the Chiefs defense as a whole has had to see. And Jaylen Hurts was able to get the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith today. And it opened up a lot of other things. And at some point, you will turn around and hand the ball to 26. And I like 26's chances.
And what was one thing we talked about that the Bills do not do as well, that you would think they do as well, is that tush push. And I'm just saying, like, as much like when they had that 1 yard from the goal line on the 2-point conversion, I'm pretty confident the Eagles get that one. The Bills, they don't get it. You get my point? So
it goes back to my reasoning why this team, the game went the way that it did tonight, though, and why I'm still going to be picking the Chiefs. I'm just going to give it away now because it's not going to change. I'll be that guy. I'm picking the Chiefs because the coaching. Andy Reid will outcoach Nick Sirianni. It's the reason why they won it in 22. It's the reason why they're going to win it again in 23 and 25.
It's kind of fun though. A lot of people were like, I get the whole thing. Like, you want new teams and that. I get all that. I get that. But also there is something about when you do have two very good teams going at it, right? Like, it's the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. The Eagles have won 15 of the last 16 games. The Chiefs have only lost 1 game all year. So I know it's hard to step back away from that, but if it was Commanders versus Chiefs, right, you would have a 10-point favorite maybe, or you get my point. Like, I feel like the Eagles, Hurts already lost to them. There's a high motivate. There are some angles to this Super Bowl as we move forward over the next couple of weeks. That's going to be dynamic. The Eagles have a chance to get their second Super Bowl here in 6 years, basically. Obviously, 2 different quarterbacks. They've been to the Super Bowl now twice in 3 years. They got
2 different coaching staffs too.
And then Mahomes and Reed have a chance to just cement themselves in NFL lore. Basically, that's what this is. That's what this comes down to for them, and it really gives them an advantage over the Patriots, even in a sense, going into Mahomes' second decade as a quarterback to win 3 in a row. He has a chance to go down as one of the best to go there with it. So it's in New Orleans here, February 9th. That's going to be the date. The
Super Bowl 59.
Crazy. Could you name all the Super Bowl winners in order? No,
not all of them in order. I used to be able to go from 1990 on because it was a lot of 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Cowboys.
There was a lot of that. Packers.
Giants.
You say Packers. You say
Packers,
Giants.
Broncos.
Yeah. That I remember Wheaties used to have this great box my dad has, but it was like Super Bowl 37. 37 is a big difference than 59. So we've made our way through it with it. So, man. We'll get into this more. I know your show will get into it more, but I feel like we've hit on that a little bit as well. Before we get to winners and losers back to championship round, as we put kind of a end to the podcast here, I just want to get our quick thoughts from you on The Bears, they hired Ben Johnson. Our guy Floppy Disk said, how many wins do you think that the Bears could get? The Raiders get Pistol Pete at 70. He'll be 74 in September. And then the Cowboys hire Brian Schottenheimer. I had a lot of Raiders fans, if I'm going to start there with it, big fans of the hire. I get it. I get why they're fans of it. Jimmy, and Brian was saying, well, you're too negative about it. And I said, well, when you have 2 decades of bad football, you're going to be negative about stuff. And so I feel like even regardless of the hire, I still have my big questions with the Raiders organizationally, even as good as Carroll is, and they're going to need that quarterback. Ben Johnson, great hire, should help Williams quite a bit, I would think. But it's the Bears and quarterback. So I always have kind of a little iffy with that. And you touched on Brian Schottenheimer, confusing hire, especially when you had Dan Quinn last year, as Nico brought up, and you brought up last week as well on our show. So what's your thoughts of maybe the coaching hires here that happened this last week?
I don't like the Pete Carroll move quite as much because I don't know what that does. I didn't like how his time ended in Seattle. Might be better for the Raiders. Like maybe it was a little bit more consistent. Ben Johnson. Yeah, no, he's probably going to get – there's going to be big extra sign on Allegiant Stadium when you fly into Vegas from now on. Maybe I'll check that out when I go for my brother's bachelor party in March. But I think that the Bears hire is one that's interesting to me because, yeah, it's easy to say maybe 9 to 10 wins. But it's something different than they've ever done. They've never gone out and got the biggest, what everybody said was the best hire. They've always gone for the second or third tier guy because they didn't want to pay the money. They're paying Ben Johnson quite a bit of money. So they're going to give him everything that he needs because they want to see some return on their investment. That's a family-run organization. So I think that might be the best thing for them. And they should be looking at this as maybe an opportunity to get the McCaskey name from the mud. Like if I saw the Bengals doing something like this, I would be jumping for joy. Whether or not it actually leads to something different on the field is another story, but you're at least seeing something different off the field, and change is change. And a lot of times change and transformation is something that's good for people. So maybe this is a good thing for the Bears. They hired the best guy and he's coming in and he's swinging. He's taking shots at everybody right off the bat.
Our guy Floppy thinks 9 to 10 wins for the Bears.
I say they surprise us, get 13. I'll say they're fighting for a wild card spot at 13 wins. I think that it'll still be a wild card spot if they get 13.
Some people made a sexy pick of them this year with it, obviously a year too early with Caleb Williams there. Like I always have I just have a hard time. That curse of the Bears quarterback is a tough one for me. Like
they
I know
get
it's
a 4,000 yard passer. I think that they've won.
Yeah, they got their guy though. They got their guy to build around there. The Cowboys again, kind of a confusing hire. We'll see. I mean, it's a Schottenheimer. He's been around a long time. We'll see what the Cowboys do with it. It's just kind of odd, McCarthy to Schottenheimer. I don't know.
Same thing.
If I was a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't.
You're just buying different size clothes for your head coach now.
It feels like an right? Just kind of And
it's the same exact product you're about to get on the field.
So if you had to guess between the Bears, Cowboys, and Raiders, you say the Bears have the best record out of the 3 teams then, obviously. Or they have they have the quarterback.
The Bears have the chance to have the best record, but I think that we're going to see the most consistent change from the Raiders because the Raiders have been so bad. I love Antonio Pierce, but I don't think that he was ready to be a head coach in the time that he got it. And Mark Davis is going to have to stop paying coaches at some point. And now he's got a buddy to go to P.F. Chang's with.
Yes,
they're just going to troll around the local P.F. Chang's in Vegas. So don't go walking down the strip. If you hear that walking up behind you, go to the other side of the street.
Haven't you heard the new set? The 74 is the new 50. So Pete Carroll's ready to go. He's ready to roll.
Oh, he's like the crypt keeper.
He's right there with it.
He's so old.
He's got there with it. He's got there with it.
Wrinkly skin and old ball. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. He got the that is from is that Big Daddy, right? Big Daddy.
My dad happened to turn it on yesterday, and then I saw that meme today, so I had to send it your way.
All right, that's a good one. I like that one. I was watching Wedding Singer last night.
And it all was bullshit.
My favorite part about it is right table 12, and it's like all the ugly people on that table 12. It's like it's just like calling them out on that.
Anything Adam Sandler and wedding related, because I know not a lot of people like it, but that's why Boy is a very funny movie also.
Yeah, that is a very funny movie. And that was Prime Save, literally kind of right in between, like right after Billy, right after.
It's the only movie of Andy Samberg that I'll watch. And Vanilla Ice.
All right. Yeah. Vanilla Ice. Yeah, we got that. All right. So as we kind of wrap it up here, what do you got for winner or loser? You started out. Is there it can be obvious, but whatever. We're down to 4 teams here. So what do you got for winner and loser of the championship round here?
Winner is the defense of the Eagles, and specifically Zach Bond. I mentioned him, but what they did today, they were a part. They're part of the reason this was a blowout, because the Commanders have given up 50 points before, but they've scored at least 40. So it's been close. This was not close. This was a statement victory for them, and I think it was a statement for the Eagles defense, trying to say, everybody's worried about these offenses over in the AFC Championship with Mahomes and Allen. They have to worry about our defense too.
They do, and I think my winner on your notes it's got to be Mahomes and Reed. I mean, my goodness, 3. I mean, I know there's other players. I get all that, but I know Kelsey's been on this run as well. But we all know the quarterback at the NFL level is the CEO, and Reed being fired from the Eagles after 13 years not being able to make it to win a Super Bowl. He made it to 1, lost to the Patriots. It's just pretty incredible. And that's why the Steelers are afraid of firing like a Tom. That's what they don't want that to happen, like what happened with Reed here with the Chiefs. And obviously, Reed's one of the best to do it. And I just 3 in a row, like never happened in my lifetime, but around for 40 years. So that's pretty incredible to see that. And guess what? It hasn't happened in any Super Bowl era. So there you go, folks.
We have not happened since Shaq and Kobe Lakers. That was the last 3-peat in professional sports was the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. And I don't even really remember that one all that well, but before that, I remember it all too well. I remember that damn one all too well. Then you had the Yankees right there before that, and then you've gone 20 years now without it. And the NFL set it up to where they don't want that to be the case. I want to test your sports knowledge. Do you know the last team that was close?
2 or 3,
3-peat. If you listen, you say you're a fan of our show, so it should be fairly obvious.
Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, because the Avalanche broke up the Tampa Bay Lightning's 3-peat.
Yes, you did. I know Tampa Bay made it twice.
We just traded Nico Rantanen. Let's not talk about hockey right now.
All right. Hey, Sharks hockey right around the corner. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we got all right, what do you got for a loser of the week then?
Loser is the American football fan, because we got exactly what we didn't want. Even if it was going to be the Chiefs, we at least wanted to see Chiefs Commanders, to see if Jayden Daniels, the young gun, can slay the beast. It would have been an absolute shit kicking in the Super Bowl, but I think that the fans, the fact that one of the first comments after the game ends is, it's hard to watch football anymore. It's not hard to watch football. You're going to watch it just the same. You just get a little bit more frustrated when you watch it now. It's not hard to watch if you're still watching every single game.
Just have a beverage. You'll be fine. Have a little beverage. You'll be fine with it as well.
And the Super Bowl is not in January, so everybody celebrating dry January like myself can get properly lubricated for the Super Bowl, and then I can come on and talk some shit about Patrick Mahomes.
See, I do dry October. So you go January. I go October. That's my thing. I go October usually.
October is my birthday month, so that one's too hard. I normally end up in Vegas for my birthday. Yeah, January is easy because I'm like wrestling season. I don't want to get fat. It's cold. I guess that makes me want to drink a little bit more.
You're not having Coke Zeros out there right now. All right, so February we'll get a little lacquered up here before it. But my loser of the week, like I said it, I'm going to be a Bills fan. I'm going to push you here with it. McDermott, you're a loser of the week. I don't care what it is. You got to get the W, buddy. Come on, you've had chances here. If you're an elite coach, put your team over the top, and you just haven't been able to deliver the job. The Bills Mafia. I am sorry about that. McDermott, Josh Allen. I'm even thrown under the bus a little here. You're getting loser of the week. I know he played good as well, but there were some plays he hit.
Not good. He played okay.
There were some plays left out on the field that he
played. He got a 79.5, and we rounded it to a B because it was the end of the quarter, and we were over it.
I didn't want to hear the champs, right? Not good enough to beat the champs, right?
No, the champs got it. The champs studied the night before. They crammed for the test and they got an A on it because that's just what they do.
That's what they do with it. So those are our winner and losers of the week, Jimmy. We've made it to past championship round. I think we're going to do a preview here of the show. Probably might not be a long one, but we'll do one here. We had 2 weeks to probably figure out a date, so we'll probably hit you guys with something there like we did last year, and then we'll do a post game show to wrap up the Super Bowl and our seasons, and kind of give you a little look ahead to what me and Jimmy got going on as well. All right, Jimmy Pilato. We've been on a 3-year journey together here doing this podcast. It's been a privilege. Be sure to subscribe to Variety Sport
700 subscribers for the Variety Sports Network. Send a couple of those my way, please. Far end of the bench.
Well, you guys do a good job over there. It's funny joining before we kind of met up together. We kind of I listened to your show a little bit. You kind of touched on my show, so it's kind of good that it's kind of fun that we've had this kind of little chance to do this show for, like I said, 3 years during the football season. It's kind of hard to imagine. Guess what? We might have the Chiefs being champions all 3 years, my friend.
Again.
So next year, let's just show up on Super Bowl. We'll know who's going to be there for us. Me and you.
Get a Patrick Mahomes. If it happens again, I'll just get a Patrick Mahomes jersey. I'll wear on every single episode of the show.
Maybe I should just get a mustache like you for Andy Reid too. Let's do that together. I'll start growing
Pass
that.
Me those chicken nuggets.
That's chicken nuggets.
Just go the hard opposite way and become a Chiefs podcast instead of an NFL podcast.
Yeah, we're just go all Chiefs. Me and Jimmy obviously bring you guys enough luck to do that. But it's been a fun ride, my friend. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's been a fun ride doing it. We'll join you here for the preview of it. That will be fun. Give us a chance to kind of take a breather here. Next week, we'll probably try to jump on right before the Super Bowl and jump on right after the Super Bowl, probably the day after on that Monday. So, like I said, be sure to subscribe to Variety Sports Network. We're over 700 now. Be sure to subscribe to Far End of the Bench out there. They're doing stuff, get a little time, maybe Fat Boy fadeaways. We got a little Bay Area, a little Mountain West action here going on. Be sure to check out there. So,
Pac-12's coming back.
Well, hopefully, I like it. Cal and the ACC never makes sense to me, so I don't understand that whatsoever. Does it? NC State versus Cal. Never thought that would be a rivalry in my life, but I guess we got it once in a while there with it. But Jimmy, have a good week of school, man. Enjoy the teaching there with it. We'll see you guys next week for the preview. So for Jimmy Pilato, Far Into the Bench, be sure to subscribe there. Darren Breyer here, Fat Boy Fadeaway. This is Talking the Gridiron. We see you guys for the Super Bowl preview. Peace.